Investment advisory services are offered through Fusion Capital Management, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The firm only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. SEC registration is not an endorsement of the firm by the Commission and does not mean that the advisor has attained a specific level of skill or ability.
Welcome to Navigating Retirement with Rick Durkee.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another great edition of Navigating Retirement. Charleston, Lowcountry savers and investors, this is the resource that you've turned to for years for answers to those important financial questions, to get answers, to understand how to address your financial concerns. And our resource here on the program, always providing the information that you need to know, is Rick Durkee, president and founder of the Coastal Financial Planning Group. Rick, always a pleasure to see you.
Thanks to see you too, Peter, and thank you to the many listeners and viewers of the Navigating Retirement podcast. We've appreciated you sharing our information, making it available to others that you feel could benefit from the type of information we provide on Navigating Retirement. And we look forward to providing you additional information as we go through this series of defined outcome investing and how this is really something that is not been available to the typical retail investor before. And now we've made it very simple and easy to understand, but there's some details that you probably want to listen into today to find out more information about structured notes and also defined outcome investing.
Well, again, defined outcome investing, we've been talking about it over the last several editions and episodes of Navigating Retirement. Kind of a new terminology and concept that many have not heard about. Now, this is not a new concept. It has been available institutionally for many, many years. It's just that recently, and in large extent because of better technology and because of market volatility, it has been brought down and made available to the individual investor level. And this is a way that we can better determine what our outcome is going to be. In fact, we can define what that outcome is going to be. And if you'd like to find out about this, I highly encourage you to request the report and the white paper that Coastal Financial Planning Group and Rick Durkee has made available. To get that in your hands, to better understand defined outcome investing, pick up the phone and give a call, request that report and white paper now. 800-491-6220. That's 800-491-6220. Or get online, cfpgroup.biz. Rick, in the previous several episodes of the program, we've been talking about the fact that we can formulate an investment approach. And generally, we are formulating that approach based on what direction of the market we want to perform well in. The market might go up, it might go down, it might go sideways. We formulate our approach based on the notion that we want to do well in one of those. But there hasn't really been a way to define our outcome with that approach. With this new style, or with the advent and the ability for us to now access defined outcome investing, we can set up an approach and a strategy to define our outcome regardless of which market environment we are in. And I believe that's attractive to many investors who have seen unpredictable results kind of impact their outcome in the past.
Yeah, especially in today's world. Now, ultimately products like the structured note can be very complex. That's why we suggest you request the white paper, but perhaps you've been listening to the last 3 podcasts on this subject of defined outcome investing, and you're saying, I just need to come in for the 3-step review. Give me the number again, 800-491-6220. Join us in the office or join us with a Zoom meeting. We can start your process of discovery, learning about how we meet with clients in a 3-step process and provide recommendations of how we see it best to define your outcome based on the defined goals that you share with us in your retirement income planning needs. So, when we look at these inner workings of these types of financial vehicles, Peter, we see that there are some complexity. However, at the Coastal Financial Planning Group, through that three-step review process, we've assisted many to determine what type of outcomes that they would like to achieve. And we do this by putting the plan first, developing that retirement income plan first, so that outcomes can be accomplished as a result of the plan and not as a result of the markets, which we have no control over. And we've mentioned several times that the disclaimer of investing in the market is there's no guarantees, and we have to be subject to the market's ups and downs. So I simply say, what if we don't want to do that anymore? Get me off that wheel of insanity. Let's decide that we want to define parameters of how much risk we want to take. And let's say that we'll accept a certain amount of downside protection to be able to get a certain amount of upside potential. And we simply have said that over the years here on Navigating Retirement as, let's be opportunistic in good times and defensively managed in bad times, or defensively minded in bad times. This will help to define our outcome and help us reach the goals that we're trying to attempt to reach.
So we set certain parameters. After defining our goals, we want a plan to work to help to achieve those goals. So we set certain parameters, and we can narrow down the selection and the variety of tools that would be proper and appropriate to be utilized to achieve those goals. Now here, Rick, we talk about a novel concept of outcome-defined investment strategies and tools. And I think, again, that will be attractive to many investors who have not enjoyed the unpredictable nature of the outcome of their investments. So if we have decided that, hey, defined outcome investing, it's something that I would like to learn more about, it's something that I would like to consider, what are some of the additional questions that we should be asking ourselves as we find out more about this approach?
Okay, good way to start up this episode, Peter. So first of all, let me say before we go into these questions that if you're retirement minded and you're income oriented, you're going to want to look at structured notes for what they can do to protect your downside risk. If you're growth oriented, or perhaps you're a wealthier investor that wants to make sure that you catch all the upside and also don't mind the downside because you have a longer time horizon before you use this money, then you're going to be more focused on structured notes that take a lot of the protection aspect of the structured note out to give you more upside potential. So they work for both type of investors. And so here's some questions you should ask yourself. And, the first one, I would say, most importantly, what is my desired outcome of my current portfolio? And what is my plan that I have in place to achieve that outcome? If we can't answer that question, we need to start today with the three-step review. And you can do that easily by visiting our website or calling us at 800-491-6220. But the key to this question is what is my desired outcome? We have to figure out what our desired goals are first of what we want and need our money to do for us.
Yeah, that's the first part. That's in any planning process, we want to define what we look to achieve, define those goals.
Yep. And if we can see those goals and we can visualize those goals, then the next thing is implementation of the plan, right? We have to make sure that we have the proper financial vehicles in place so that we can achieve this defined outcome that we seek. And so the second question is, this is something that I really want you to think about for a minute, and don't answer it too quickly, okay? Has my current financial advisor ever approached this subject of defined outcome investing with me? Okay, and if not, why not? Okay, now we talked about it in a prior episode that this hasn't been made available to the retail investor before now, okay? And it's been mainly afforded to the institutional investor or the accredited investor that has over $1 million to be able to put in a structured note. But now it is available to the retail investor. So many of your sources of current financial advice probably aren't even aware of this type of strategy and that it's available to the retail public. So we can't blame them for that. but we can blame them for not going through a process of making sure we have a defined benefit plan in writing for ourselves. And that's called a retirement income plan. So we're going to encourage you, okay, to look at this and say, I haven't really gone through that process with my current source of financial advice. Maybe I need to check this out.
Well, again, if you would like to learn more about defined outcome investment strategies, about structured notes and how they can help you define your outcome, pick up the phone, request this report, request the white paper on introducing structured notes and investing with structured notes, the process of defining your outcome when investing, made available exclusively through the Coastal Financial Planning Group. Pick up the phone, request that report and white paper now. 800-491-6220. That's 800-491-6220. 800-491-6220. Rick, I have to imagine that most people have not heard from their current source of financial advice about defined outcome investing, or I think more people would be familiar with the terminology.
Well, that could be because most people's financial advisors haven't even called them to explain those big losses that they just saw in their statements.
I've heard that from several people, actually.
Yeah. Yep. So, we're reaching out to everyone. We're giving you a solution. We understand that there was risk that you didn't really feel that you should have been subject to. We understand that you now feel that there's issues that you need to be protected against. But what we want to do is give you an opportunity to act and an opportunity to find out, how can I avoid this situation happening again? So here's my next question that you should ask yourself after viewing these past episodes of Navigating Retirement. If I'm close to retirement, what are the income amounts that I'm going to need to generate in my income plan to achieve my goal? And will those be met under my current investment strategy plans? Okay, so that's a pretty detailed question. Okay, and you may not be able to answer it yourself. You might say, well, my past source of financial advice has always shared with me that my risk is right and I'm going to achieve these goals.
Well, and Rick, I'm going to take issue with you here because you mentioned, will I achieve these under my current investment strategy or plan? I'd like to maybe interject my current assumptions of my plan, because a lot of what we anticipate achieving into the future is not necessarily a plan. It's based on several assumptions that the market is going to behave and agree with the outcome that we want to achieve, which doesn't always happen, Murphy's Law.
Yeah, and a lot of those assumptions were based on what they called Monte Carlo projections. Monte Carlo was just a model where you took 1,000 different market scenarios and plugged them into an algorithm and defined what your probability for success was. Problem was, it's all based on past results. Problem is that we can't bank on our future based on past results of the market that are non-guaranteed to carry forward.
Well, probability does not relate to defined outcome either. There is some percentage likelihood, there is a probability, but you are speaking about a different model, a different approach where we can define that outcome.
Yeah, that's true, Peter. So here's the last question, or actually I have two more that I'd like to ask for this episode of Navigating Retirement and discussion of the process of defined outcome investing. If you're growth oriented, as I mentioned starting out the podcast today, if you're growth oriented, do I know what my retirement number is? Maybe you're young and you're not really sure what that amount of money is going to be needed to be able to meet your expenses throughout your remainder of your life or lives if you have a spouse that you want to make sure to protect. And so what is your plan now to reach that number, to accumulate wealth and grow these assets and have some type of surety that you're going to reach that objective in markets today that don't give us that surety because there's a lot of uncertainty as to what the markets will do next. So the plan to have a stress-free retirement is based on achieving that number And what if you could define that number up front in your goals? Okay. And then secondly, you could define how to reach that objective through your investments. Okay. Finally, Peter, I have one last question. Ask yourself if you're properly diversified in the current market portfolio that you have now. Given these current market conditions that we're in, you should ask if your portfolio is positioned properly to manage volatility like we're seeing right now in the future. Because there is one certainty with market-based investing, and that's that we will have volatility going forward. Now, I can't predict if that volatility will be upward or downward.
The certainty is the uncertainty of it.
That's true. That's true. But we do know that the market guarantees us two things. It will go up and it will go down. It just doesn't guarantee us when.
Right.
And so if you're doing the planning for retirement, you certainly want to achieve that certainty and define what our objectives are and what we need to grow our assets or provide income from our assets for the retirement minded throughout the remainder of our lives.
Well, I believe that is why defined outcome investing is going to be attractive, because we can determine the results of our plan. And so many are looking for that in their investment results, some kind of defined outcome that we know what the future may hold, and add more certainty, because the market is uncertain and we want to be able to, yes, utilize the market, get some growth, have the opportunity that it does allow us access to. But we also want to have more certainty than a simple probability or a Monte Carlo simulator. And if you'd like to find out more about defined outcome investment strategies, pick up the phone and give Coastal Financial Planning Group a call. Request this report and white paper that is available to you for free, no cost, and exclusively through the Coastal Financial Planning Group. Again, there is no benefit for procrastinating. There is no reason to delay this call, ladies and gentlemen. There is only reason to get your plan put together, and there's no requirement for getting together in person. This can be done virtually. This can be done over the phone. This can be done over the computer with technology. Pick up the phone and give a call, 800-491-6220 to get that process started, 800-491-6220, 800-491-6220. Visit them online, cfpgroup.biz. That's cfpgroup.biz. Rick, a lot of questions though, the biggest being, what is my outcome going to be if I take this risk, if I invest this money that I've worked so hard for with a defined outcome investment strategy? We can answer those questions, and you can show people how that works there at the Coastal Financial Planning Group.
Speed at the Coastal Financial Planning Group, we've been here for years, 17 years, to be able to assist people that are retirement minded or growth oriented to be able to chart their course, to navigate these waters of retirement and make sure that they have a defined benefit plan through their income plan. And then secondly, a defined investment outcome or defined outcome investing, as we've talked about here, and seek the three main principles. And you can find out how we address those three main principles in a 3-step review, but address the risks that we face, the issues that we want to address and plan for, and then finally, the opportunities that we seek to gain advantage of. So going through a process to define what we want and how we want to do it will help you to achieve your goals.
Well, educated and informed people make better decisions. So let's get the information that we need about the options that are available. And certainly if you would like to have a better understanding of what your future looks like, of what your outcome will be, defined outcome investment strategies and solutions are something that you need to find out more about. There's no need to meet in person to start this conversation and get a better handle and get headed toward a better path toward your financial future and improving that. Pick up the phone, give Rick Durkee and the Coastal Financial Planning Group a call, 800-491-6220, 800-491-6220. That's 800-491-6220. 800-491-6220. Rick, always a pleasure. We appreciate the time and the guidance that you provide for Charleston and Low Country area savers and investors, those taking our planning and our financial future seriously.
I want to encourage our listeners to join us again for the next edition of Navigating Retirement, where we'll talk a little bit about the three types of markets and how structured notes and defined outcome investing can work in those three different types of markets.
And help you navigate, as we do each and every week here with Rick Durkee on Navigating Retirement. Be sure to visit cfpgroup.biz for the video or the audio podcasts. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to be alerted for future episodes, and share them with friends, neighbors, loved ones, family that may also benefit from this information. We appreciate your time, as always, tuning in to this great edition of Navigating Retirement, and look forward to speaking with you or hearing from you very soon. Give a call, 800-491-6220. We'll talk to you next time.
Catch more of Rick Durkee and Navigating Retirement by visiting cfpgroup.biz.
While we believe the information in this broadcast is reliable, we cannot guarantee its accuracy. Opinions expressed are subject to change without notice and are not intended as investment advice or solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security. Please consult your financial professional before making any investment decisions. Investment advisory services are offered through Fusion Capital Management, an SEC-registered investment advisor. SEC registration is not an endorsement of the firm by the Commission and does not mean that the advisor has attained a specific level of skill or ability. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes.
Fiduciary duty extends solely to investment advisory advice and does not extend to other activities such as insurance or broker-dealer services. Advisory clients are charged a fee for assets under management, while insurance products pay a commission, which may result in a conflict of interest regarding compensation.